the fact that she has blue eyes, and then she says, I have great genes, you know, because she's wearing jeans. But according to the woke people, this means that she's a white supremacist. It also doesn't help that her bra size is 36 KKK. And again, all the research shows that these trigger warnings don't even work. What they do is reinforce the idea that trauma is central to your identity and that you should let it define you instead of dealing with it, dispatching it, and moving beyond it. People wonder why the younger generations have so much anxiety. It's this stuff. Lots of stuff makes us uncomfortable. You know what makes me uncomfortable? This bullshit.
You'd be forgiven for thinking the Sydney Sweeney controversy had already blown over, but it clearly hasn't. Some corners of the internet are still angry, continuing to criticize her over a lighthearted advertisement that, by most standards, caused no real harm. That ongoing reaction says a lot about the current state of online outrage culture. Enter Bill Maher, who addressed the situation head-on and offered a sharp, comedic critique of how far the backlash went. The result was a moment that didn't just land jokes. It exposed how quickly harmless entertainment can be turned into a moral crisis. Let's break down why this exchange resonated so strongly.
In other uncomfortable racial news, sad news, we found out this week that Sydney Sweeney is a... That was just... no, she's not, but you all see the ad that she's out there. This is a very important ad that we're seeing now. There she is, dressed like Jay Leno in all blue denim. And she talks about the fact that she has blue eyes, and then she says, I have great genes, you know, because she's wearing jeans. But according to the woke people, this means that she's a white supremacist. It also doesn't help that her bra size is 36 KKK.
Maher summed up the entire uproar with one precise comedic observation, dismantling the controversy while questioning the mindset behind it. To most viewers, the ad was clearly meant as playful wordplay, nothing more. There was no hidden political message or ideological agenda baked into it. Yet critics managed to interpret it as something far more serious. Maher highlighted the exaggeration by joking that the internet reacted as if Sweeney were part of some grand conspiracy, rather than an actor appearing in a commercial. The humor worked because it reflected a real pattern, outrage escalating far beyond the original context.
I will say this, they should have been aware when they wrote this ad that this is what some people were going to think. I don't think they did it on purpose, but I also think it's pretty funny that all the online social justice girls are like, it's racist. There's no such thing as good genes. Right, and then you go on Tinder and swipe left on every bald guy.
It's also worth noting that the creators behind the ad likely anticipated some backlash and proceeded anyway. That choice reflects a broader principle. Creative expression shouldn't require approval from online gatekeepers. In a society that values free expression, people must be allowed to joke, experiment, and occasionally miss the mark without being subjected to public shaming campaigns. As long as speech remains lawful, disagreement should be met with discussion, not punishment. Freedom of expression exists precisely to protect humor and satire, even when it doesn't land perfectly for everyone.
Put a trigger warning on trigger warnings. A new study from Flinders University analyzed a dozen other studies on trigger warnings, and they all came to the same conclusion. They don't work. Not only don't they protect your feelings, but if you actually have been traumatized by something they're warning you about, a trigger warning makes it worse. It's like if seatbelts were made out of broken glass. It winds up just being a reenactment of the old joke, how do you keep a in suspense? I'll tell you later.
Some critics went so far as to argue the ad should have included a content warning, as if a brief commercial required the same framing as intense subject matter. Maher quickly dismissed that idea, pointing out a simple reality. Warnings rarely reduce attention, they increase it. Telling people not to look almost guarantees they will. From a psychological standpoint, curiosity tends to override caution. Rather than preventing offense, a warning would likely have amplified the reaction and drawn more scrutiny to the ad. Maher's point was clear. Attempts to control reactions often backfire.
Now, for those of you who have been living on an offshore oil rig for the last 10 years and don't know what I'm talking about, a trigger warning is a kind of close your eyes, here comes an ouchie, that, like so many bad ideas in recent years, got started on college campuses. Students started demanding them so they could get ready in case something in a book or a piece of art or a history lesson reminded them that life included bad things and not just good, and sometimes people were mean. You can't have that just sprung on you. Several universities in recent years have even compiled lists of words we should be warned about to get rid of altogether, including balls to the wall, no can do, you guys, master, white paper, man in the middle, gyp, off the reservation.
He extended that argument further by noting that real life doesn't come with advance notices. Difficult situations, uncomfortable conversations, and unexpected moments happen without disclaimers. Maher questioned why adults, particularly students preparing for life beyond school, should expect constant emotional buffering. If people are capable of handling complex responsibilities and real-world challenges, they can also engage with ideas that make them uncomfortable. Overprotecting audiences doesn't build strength. It reduces resilience.
You can't say virgin as opposed to what? Person experiencing not getting laid? You would think that one would take the cake for the oversensitivity, but the students at Brandeis said, "Hold my baby bottle." They made a list of expressions they don't want to hear because they remind them of violence. Terms like it, beating a dead horse, and yes, even trigger warning.
Maher also addressed how language itself has become increasingly convoluted in an attempt to avoid offense. Common, widely understood words are often replaced with lengthy or awkward alternatives that add confusion rather than clarity. Even when these substitutions are well-intentioned, they slow communication and obscure meaning. Instead of fostering understanding, this trend often turns everyday speech into an exercise in verbal gymnastics, without producing meaningful progress.
At some point, the trigger warning escaped from campus and got out into the real world, and now they're everywhere. Warnings at the top of Reddit threads and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram posts. Warnings before your favorite serial series, before news articles. Disney put an advisory on the movie Dumbo, warning viewers about stereotypes because otherwise you might think it was a documentary about flying elephants. Turner Classic Movies still wants to show you classic movies, but before we do, first there are a few parts we'd like you to feel really bad about. Now enjoy the show. Theaters do it now too. The storied Guthrie Theater in Minneapolis tipped off their crowd that a play included simulated strobe lights and haze.
In some cases, the push for warnings reaches almost absurd levels. Maher pointed to examples where harmless elements, like stage fog in a theater, are treated as potential emotional hazards. While individual sensitivities deserve respect, expecting the world to eliminate every neutral stimulus isn't realistic. When caution expands to cover nearly everything, it loses its purpose and becomes a source of irritation rather than protection.
All the research shows that these trigger warnings don't even work. What they do is reinforce the idea that trauma is central to your identity and that you should let it define you instead of dealing with it, dispatching it, and moving beyond it. People wonder why the younger generations have so much anxiety. It's this stuff. Lots of stuff makes us uncomfortable. You know what makes me uncomfortable? This bull. People who start every conversation with, as a person who, as a survivor of, I'm triggered every time I see a trigger warning. Because I'm reminded of how weak my country has become.
Maher emphasized that real healing doesn't come from avoiding every possible reminder of discomfort. Growth usually involves confronting challenges gradually, with proper support when needed. Constant warnings can unintentionally reinforce anxiety by signaling danger where none exists. Instead of empowering people, they may encourage avoidance, making fears feel larger over time. His message focused on resilience, acknowledging difficulty without letting it dictate every interaction.
I'm triggered every time I see a trigger warning. Because I'm reminded of how weak my country has become. It's like wearing a mask on your mind. We keep finding out about new health problems kids have from being locked inside for 3 years, exposed only to filtered air during the COVID era. Turns out that's not healthy. But you know, there is an alternative way of dealing with anxiety, and let me put it in comic book terms so the kids can relate. Bruce Wayne, you're familiar, was afraid of bats. So what did he do? He became Batman. That's the way to go.
Facing fears directly, even in small steps, is often more effective than shielding oneself from them entirely. While avoidance can feel safer in the moment, it tends to strengthen anxiety in the long run. Confidence builds through experience, not insulation. Maher argued that resilience comes from learning that discomfort can be managed, not from being told it must always be avoided.
Because, honestly, we cannot go any further in the other direction we've been going in. We've already passed the point of parity. A student group in Australia recently called for trigger warnings on eye contact. Even the Taliban are okay with eyes. Eye contact? Were you traumatized as a child after losing a staring contest? What's next? Trigger warnings for conversations? Having everyone walk around with name tags that say, "Hi, I'm Dave. Please don't bring up doorknobs."
Ultimately, the Sydney Sweeney situation highlights how performative outrage can overshadow common sense. A harmless ad became a national talking point, ordinary language was scrutinized, and excessive caution was framed as progress. Maher's critique cut through that noise, reminding audiences that life doesn't offer constant warnings, and expecting it to do so doesn't make society healthier. Strength comes from engagement, perspective, and the ability to handle discomfort without turning every moment into a crisis. And with that, we'll wrap up today's discussion. If you found this breakdown useful, be sure to like the video and subscribe for more thoughtful commentary.